Everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Soulful Guitar Lessons. My name is Alec. Every Wednesday we go live. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is like 10 a.m. LA time, California time. And yeah, we always do the same format. First 10-15 minutes is a topic, and then the rest of the class is just Q&A. We get to hang out, we get to know each other. Um, so if you're new here, just drop your name, drop your, where you're from, how long you've been playing, all that fun stuff. Give me 1 second. And all right. So today I want to talk about my favorite guitar player to ever do it, Jimi Hendrix. And it's funny because I got this acoustic guitar, right, and Jimi rarely ever played an acoustic, but that's not really my biggest takeaway. So Jimi Hendrix was one of those guys I discovered, and probably most guitar players discovered, as like the pivotal guitar player. Like for some reason, he died 53 years ago. For some reason, this guy is most guitar. If you did a poll and you asked 100 guitar players who their favorite guitar player is, I would say the majority would say Jimi Hendrix. And why is that? Why is Jimi Hendrix so many people's favorite guitar player? And I'll tell you the reason for me. And like my biggest takeaway, because when I first discovered Jimi Hendrix, I was in 7th grade. Was I in 6th grade, 7th grade, right around there, like 12, 13 years old. And I heard him play like Purple Haze, Foxy Lady, and all the stuff from Are You Experienced, that record. And I'd really never heard anything like that. Things I noticed, like upon like first listening, I noticed like just a crazy soundscape. Like it was super distorted and fuzzy and dirty. I noticed that it was like very raw and emotional, and I noticed that it was super creative. Like there's so many great guitar players that are just that, great guitar players, but nothing more, right? They're not good songwriters, they're not good artists or composers, and just Jimi Hendrix is this total package. And for me, my biggest takeaway that I learned, like the biggest thing that I learned from Jimi, it was this. It was that like emotion trumps all. So Jimi Hendrix is not the most technical guitar player. He is not the most precise guitar player. He'll often play out of tune. He'll often play out of time. However, his like raw emotion and like the thing he brings to the table in like a big picture is just his energy and his crazy, just like he's like 100% committed and 100% in to whatever he is doing. That is absolutely my biggest takeaway. Yeah, I had never heard anyone play like him. Still to this day, there's people that get close. Someone like Eric Gales definitely transcends. But yeah, that is definitely my biggest takeaway. Is just his raw energy, his raw emotion. Here's if you're still watching, if you're just joining this channel, my second biggest takeaway. Is his hand positioning. I remember watching him play, and the dude has giant hands, right? But I remember I used to play like this, right? My that kind of thing. And then I saw Jimi, and his thumb was always poking over the top. So, like a kid, I just started copying him, and I didn't know why, right? And I just started copying him. And next thing you know, all my bends are clean. Everything sounds a little more powerful because you have this thumb to kind of have torque and leverage for bending, for just like overall feel, right? You can use it for chords, but that is so minute compared to like the raw energy that Jimi brings. So I'm gonna keep talking some Jimi. My favorite record of his, I remember getting Electric Ladyland in junior high. Our junior high was like 7th through 9th grade. I remember getting Electric Ladyland in junior high, and it was a double LP, which means I had to have two CDs. I used to have those CD players, right? The G-Shock, Sony G-Shock. That was like the nice one. That was like a holiday birthday present kind of thing. But oftentimes I had like, before that I just had crappy CD players, and I would, go to the library, rent my CDs, and then, just play that. And like on that record, there's Voodoo Child, there's Burning of the Midnight Lamp, there is, what is the one? Like my favorite, Electric Ladyland. It's absolutely incredible. And if you guys are just joining me, I see some folks are kind of hopping on right now. I'm just talking about my favorite thing about Jimi Hendrix, and feel free to jump in the chat. Say your favorite thing about Jimi, or your favorite thing about any living guitar player. For me, my favorite thing, if you're just joining, is his just raw energy and his raw feel. I was saying, he doesn't play off, he doesn't always play in tune, in time, or all that stuff, but something that transcends and like connects to people is his raw emotion. And for me, that's like his biggest attribute, and the thing that I like connected to, and that, for me, that's like what really draws me to guitar players. It's never like the technical stuff, it's really like, can I feel it, right? Like, and that kind of goes down the line, right? Like B.B. King, like my mom knows who B.B. King is. My mom doesn't know who like Steve Vai is. And that's nothing to say, there's no diss on anyone, but I think the reason for that is that just the raw emotion of people's playing. Like B.B. King didn't play fancy stuff, right? It was very, very simple. But he meant it, and he felt that. So got my little Martin D18 here. If you're new to the channel, or if you're just popping in, say what's up. Let me know, because I usually have little questions here. So if you look in the chat box to your right, it should be, a little question. Let me know your favorite living guitar player. I absolutely love this guitar. Cool. So, yeah, if you're just joining, Jimi is my favorite. He's so many guitar players' favorite guitarist. He's like a guitar player's guitar player. You ask 100 people, Jimi is going to be 60% of people's favorite guitar players. It's just wild. His energy is insane. So, I'm gonna open it up for a little Q&A. What's up, Douglas? I'm good, man. How you doing? I'm gonna open it up for a little Q&A. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, let me know your favorite living guitar player. I'm curious, and I'm not even gonna say mine. Jimmy's been dead for 53 years. But I'm curious to hear people's answer. Lot of talent out there. A lot of great guitar players. A lot of great musicians out there. The internet has really, like, just opened our eyes. Like, and like anyone with a phone can showcase their talent. And most people in the world have a phone. It's pretty incredible. So, Douglas is saying Eric Gales, Derek Trucks. Those are great answers. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. Incredible guitar players. Jack, I've never heard of this guy. Jack Roosh, or Ruck. Cool, I gotta check that guy out. If you guys are also in the chat, I want to know you guys' favorite guitar player. We were talking about Jimi Hendrix. Biggest thing I learned from him. For me, it was his emotion, his playing, his just raw energy. And now we're in the Q&A phase of the live stream. So let me know your favorite current guitar player. Douglas is saying, oh, Josh Smith. Yeah, he's a great guitar player. Insane. He's so good, man. He's like a little virtuoso. What do we got? Have you seen him shred I'm assuming you mean violin when he was 19 years old? I have not seen that. That's pretty incredible. I'm gonna have a little coffee here. If you're new to the chat, say what's up. Let me know your favorite guitar player that's living right now. And if you're just joining us, I was talking about how Jimi been so influential on me, and the biggest thing I learned from him, just to summarize, I did a whole little spiel in the beginning, but just to summarize, it was just his raw emotion. Absolutely incredible. Douglas was asking how to solo over Little Wing. Yeah, just play. So the song is normally half step lower than a normal guitar. So like Jimi tuned half step. So everything I play will be a half step up from the recording. But assume you're playing an E standard. You know. Just play G major pentatonic for everything. You should be set. You know, that should. With a circus mind that's running out. Right, that'll all work. Butterflies and zebras and fairy tales running. All these chords, you can play G major pentatonic. You know. Sounds a little cowboy right now with the acoustic, but if you're looking for more specifics, a great way to do it is to copy Jimi's solo. That's, you know, if you don't hit the, you know, that's a very iconic moment. I would learn that. Yeah, I would learn Jimi's solo if you're trying to figure it out, and then from there do your own thing. I mean, you can have fun in this little pentatonic box, right? I'm playing that, you know, that every guitar player's favorite pentatonic shape. And see, I don't have a cutout here, so I'm gonna have to like this is not the day for shredding Jimi. But yeah. So Douglas is asking, you have another question. You're into so many kind of stuff, like so many genres: pop, jazz, R&B, rock. Like, how do you figure it out? Like, how do you? You're saying finding a structure to use it all. That's a great question. So if you know a lot of genres, jazz, pop, funk, R&B, and you're trying to do it all, there's two approaches. There's the artist approach where you say, like, fuck it, I'm gonna do my thing no matter what, and I'm gonna be the artist, like guitar player. So like someone like Jimi Hendrix is an artist guitar player. He is gonna sound like him no matter what, no matter if he's playing like an Isley Brothers song or if he's playing his thing. It's Jimi. And then there is the session guitar player approach, which is I'm going to try to match the vibe of the song, which is like a Steve Lukather kind of approach where you're like a chameleon and you're able to adapt into different environments. So you really choose a route. Is it, you know, the red pill or the blue pill? If you choose the artist approach, I think it's a little more simple. If you choose the guitar player approach or like the session player approach, where you kind of like blend into the vibe of whatever's going on, then you want to be authentic to each genre, right? So if you're playing R&B, you would, you know, avoid playing, you know, like you know, that kind of thing. If you're playing like rock, or if you're playing jazz, you would probably avoid, you know, like that kind of thing, right? You'd stick to idioms. And if you're really trying to have it all come together, the biggest thing for me is just like playing with others. If you have somebody in your neighborhood or someone you like to drink coffee with, and you're able to get together and hang out and just play tunes, you're gonna fuse all this stuff together. Yeah. Douglas, you're asking, how do you remember all the vocabulary of each style? If you're asking me, if you're asking you as in like you generally, or me, for me, I don't remember anything. It's just a thing that you do so much. It's like riding a bike or like, you know, going for a walk. You're not really thinking about what you're doing. You're like, when you're going for a walk, your legs are moving, right? But you're able to do other things. You know, you're able to think about something else, or like you could call a friend, or, you know, you could walk and talk kind of thing. And that's how guitar playing should be, right? You've done it so much that it's like second nature. It's like subconscious. So we're trying to take all of the stuff that we're thinking so much, and that's why we practice, right? That's why we practice scales, and, you know, we jam with friends and we play bar gigs, is because we want to get all this stuff down to here. And once it's here, you don't think about it ever, right? You know, you're just playing from your heart. So that's the goal, right? That's where we're trying to get to. So you're not trying to really remember. It just comes out of your subconscious. I know that's kind of like cerebral and sounds like hippie, and you're like, how do I even do that in practice? But trust me, it's one of those things that like you practice and you practice, and then maybe you never touch that song, and then 6 months later you're jamming with a friend, or you're playing over a backing track from YouTube, and like something comes out and you're like, whoa, that was sweet, where did that come from? Well, it's because you practiced 6 months ago so much that like it's just coming out of you. And a lot of times, if you're patient, stuff will come out. It just takes, like, for me, it takes like 6 months. Like, I'll practice something, and then, like, you know, I won't practice it, and then 6 months later, like, something will come out of me, like when I'm doing something, I'm like, whoa, that was so cool. It's because it seeped into my subconscious, and somehow it's coming out. We have a new person in the chat. What's up? What's your name? That's awesome. Thanks for being a part of this community. I'm gonna read the. Any advice on how to break out of melodies that are getting stale? You tend to reach for similar sounds a lot. Yes. So, my question to you is, are your fingers reaching for it, or is your, like, are your fingers doing the movement, and like you're, you know, it's so mechanical that it's like just burned into your neural pathways, and that you know, you're just kind of playing without any emotion? Or is it the fact that you're playing melodies that are true to you? Okay, so you're saying both fingers and voice in a lot of ways. Okay, so my answer is twofold. Someone like BB King plays the same thing all the time, but it's super true to who he is. Um, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. That could be you developing your sound, your style. Now, but if you truly are like bored of it or like sick of what you're playing, um, try to. There's many ways to break out of it. Try to transcribe someone else, like horn player. Try to transcribe John Coltrane or Charlie Parker or Derek Trucks or someone that you don't normally listen to. That's a great way to break out of your idiom. Try to learn something new. Um, Essentially, is what I'm saying. My computer froze. You said you've heard finding your voice is easy, but getting rid of it is the hardest part. Um, Listen, if you found your voice, I don't think, I think you're, that's a great thing. That is an amazing thing. Most people don't find their voice. Most people just copy and copy, and they never really truly find their voice. So if you found your voice, if you feel like, um, if you feel like you're playing stuff that's true to you, that's incredible. But again, just to answer your question, I don't want to feel like I don't want you to feel like I'm ignoring your question. I would listen to other people and I would transcribe them, um, and just like get some new information in your brain. If you're always listening to the same three albums, listen to something else. Um, Listen to other instruments, saxophone, trumpet, piano. Try to figure out what they're doing. You could also pick up another instrument. You could try messing around a piano or mandolin or something else and try to figure out stuff that would sound great on there, and it would kind of, it's almost like cross training too. Like as an athlete, right? You're like you never, like a marathon runner, you never just like run, you swim, you weight train, you do all these things because you are in the bigger picture like an athlete. And as a musician, yes, we are guitar players, but you could also think like, oh, we're musicians in a big picture, so we should be able to sing or like play piano or do all these other things, right? So that's another creative way to get you out of your rut. If you feel that the key is if you feel like you're playing the same thing. But again, I would stress that if you're playing the same thing and it's from the heart and you have a sound, that's a pretty incredible thing. Nobody gets mad at BB King for when he goes. Nobody's like, you played that a million times, right? Everyone's like, hell yeah, he meant that, and that shit sounds good, right? Like that sounds amazing. Um, so I'm glad that helped. I'm glad that helped. What's your name? Where are you from? And thanks for being a part of the channel. Got my coffee here. Anybody else just moving here? Been up for a bit, but I like to drink my coffee slow. So, Jamie, you're from Ireland. Oh, awesome. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome. We've never had anyone from Ireland on this live stream, so welcome. You are the first. Congratulations, and thanks for being a part of Soulful Guitar Lessons. If everyone is just joining us, say what's up in the chat. I want to hear your favorite living guitar player. Earlier, we were talking about my biggest takeaway from Jimi Hendrix. For me, it was his raw emotion, because I was saying he doesn't always bend in tune. He doesn't always play in tune. You know, he's not always that precise, but his heart, his spirit, like just speaks to us. And for me, that was my biggest thing I learned from Jimi Hendrix, among a lot of other things. But in a broad picture, that's absolutely my biggest takeaway. So if you are just joining us, I want to hear from you what your favorite guitar player is that's alive today. A lot of great guitar players. A lot of great musicians. Okay, Hendrix is number one. Ernie Isley is up there too. It's a great answer, right? Like, Jimi Hendrix used to be a part of the Isley Brothers, so that makes sense. He used to stay at the Isley Brothers' house, so Ernie learned a lot from Jimi. They almost have similar sound, right? Like in That Lady, when Ernie is playing that solo, it sounds very similar to like how Jimi would approach it, right? Fuzzy guitar, phased out a little bit. So it's funny how things go in cycles, but Ernie definitely did his own thing. So, okay, we got Jesse Johnson from Morris Day and the Time. Charlie Hunter, great guitar player, insane session player. D'Angelo, John Mayer. Guitar funk player, says Prince. Yeah, that's a great answer. He is one of the best. You talk about raw energy, being an all-around musician artist. Nobody like him. I've never seen anybody like him. I got to see Prince. He came to Chicago in like 2016. I feel so lucky that he did. But he was at the House of Blues, right? And it wasn't officially Prince playing. It was like the Purple after party, you know. So like they didn't put his name on the bill, and so like, you know, the House of Blues in Chicago, you know, it's like 9, 10, and like Prince would be peeking his head out of the curtain. People would go crazy, right? And then he would disappear. It ended up being like 5 a.m. and he never came out and performed, and people were upset. Now, his name wasn't officially on the bill, so like there was this gray area. But what he ended up doing is he ended up giving everyone that purchased tickets to the House of Blues, he ended up giving them tickets to the United Center because he just played a show. I don't know. I can't remember the timeline. Like maybe like a week later at the United Center in Chicago, and I got to see him with a bunch of Chicago friends. And that dude, like I was way up in the balcony, but I could feel his energy. Like I was way up in the nosebleeds. It was just insane. He was so good, so incredible, and yeah, he's just strutting around like nothing, and all the favorite songs. And so I grew up in Minneapolis as well, like 15 minutes away from where Prince lived. Not that I ever ran into him or anything, and I was never invited to Paisley Park or anything like that. But he lived in Chanhassen off a highway with no gates or anything. You could just walk right up to his house. But everyone in Minnesota was really respectful of him. But anyways, it's funny just growing up in Minneapolis because a lot of like grocery stores and stuff would be playing Prince's like deep cut stuff. You know, just like it's weird. It's weird how like your subconscious will work, because I've been hearing his music for so long growing up in Minneapolis that I don't know. It's just like it hits me in a different way. I guess that kind of that goes to say like the subconscious is a very powerful thing, right? You know, you're able to, you know, if you've heard stuff a long time, you're like, oh damn, this is like, you know, something about it just feels different, and you're able to I don't know, like synthesize information in different ways. So the more you listen, the better. So what do we got here? Douglas is saying, what do you think of John Mayer's solo tour? I have no idea. I haven't seen anything about it. I know that he plays guitar. Obviously, he plays like Madison Square Garden by himself. I haven't seen anything. I would love to go check it out. But until I see it, I wouldn't really have anything to say about it, you know. But I love him as an artist, and I would love to go see it. Now I'm trying to play a Prince groove, but I got this cutaway. This is the sticky like a glue. Yeah, that's one of my favorite Prince songs. It's hits a little different on the acoustic, but yeah. Guitar funk player. Where are you from? Cool, man. Uh, get back to work. Do your thing. A fellow Californian. All right. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's raining buckets outside. It has been for so long. It's crazy here in California. All right, we got any new people in the chat? How many people are here and they're watching, but they're at work and it's like on silent, or you're trying to keep this window away from a boss? What's up, man? Okay, how do I pronounce your name? You said you recently found me on YouTube. Oh, it's so nice, man. All right, because I'm having a hard time pronouncing your tag. But thanks for being a part of Soulful Guitar Lessons. I'm Alec. So nice to meet you, man. Pablo. Okay. Cool. Easy. That's easy. Where are you from, Pablo? Where are you from, Pablo? We've had somebody from Ireland today. We got somebody from Germany. Okay, you're from Manchester, UK. That's awesome, man. Okay, I've been to Manchester. Really, I had fun in Manchester. Great beer, decent food. I'm not gonna lie, the food was okay, but the people were so nice. Yeah, it was kind of cold when I was there. It was like November, like a little blustery. But yeah, like the bars, everything was great. Like the venues. Douglas was asking, when's my next trip to Europe? Unknown, man. We'll see. I'll definitely make an announcement if I'm doing any traveling. I realize I'm like not in the center. There we go. But yeah. Well, Pablo, how long you been playing? And let me know. Actually, I want to hear what is one of the biggest things you struggle with on the guitar. Thanks, Douglas. Appreciate it. I have been to Munich. Okay, yeah. Pablo said it's always cold, man. Food is okay. Nothing special. People are great. Yeah, I'm sure the music scene is good. Here's the thing, what I learned about the world is that there are amazing musicians and artists anywhere you drop a pin. people are more visible in bigger cities, right? Like, because there's just more places to play at. But I could go to the most remote places in the world. I guarantee you there are people that are mind blowing at music. So that's so cool. That's what's so fun about traveling around. Um, Douglas is saying, when I travel, do I join jam sessions? So I haven't traveled like in a bit. Like I've done a lot of national travel, but as far or like I've gone to Mexico and Canada, but as far as like international travel, like I'm always down to jam whatever. It's really about like if I'm feeling rested, if I gotta go, because a lot of times you're like you fly from here and you go somewhere and it's play a show and you're tired, so yeah. Okay. So Pablo, you've been playing since 2018. Your biggest problem at the moment is your technique, you're saying, and you're feeling like you're not creative enough on the guitar. Okay. Um, here's a tip for you. Beyond let's focus on the creativity thing first. Let's this is what I like to do if I feel like I'm not being creative, is I take something from someone, but a small idea. Uh, let's take this idea. I'm just gonna play something, and say this is like a Van Halen lick or like a Eric Gales lick, whatever. It doesn't matter. You take a little idea, right? Yeah. Say something simple like that. If you have your guitar, you can kind of play along with me. It's A minor pentatonic, And then if I feel like, oh dang, like that's his thing or her thing, right? That's like but I don't have my own thing, right? Well, I would actually just take that and start messing around with it. Like, okay, could I play it on a different string set? Like, that was their thing, but what if I did? Okay, that all of a sudden becomes my thing, or like a. Oh, that doesn't sound at all like the original thing, right? So I'm able to like take this original idea from somebody else and kind of tweak it. Maybe keep the rhythmic idea. That's a very powerful thing, and then change the notes. And all of a sudden, I feel like I have my own idea that's unique to me, and it's still like based in a musical ether. It's like, oh, it still came from here, but now I'm working and operating in my own little creative sphere. That's something I like to do a lot. So try that out. As far as technique goes, here's something I could say. Make sure you are, if you're getting sore afterwards, you feel like your technique is bad, there's ways you can help. Try stretching before you play for 5 minutes, doing like this kind of thing. Just stretching out a little, because it's a physical instrument, right? If you're sitting down and playing for a while, you need to stretch out your body, and that could definitely help your just like ligaments in your muscles, and just to loosen up a bit. And if you're still having problems after that, I'm here to help. So. What's up, Willy Nilly? Haven't seen you here. Welcome. I'm Alec. Thanks for being a part of Soulful Guitar Lessons. Any tips to documenting riffs? So, yes. So this is what I used to do. Is I would create like a folder of riffs or licks that I liked. Now, there's many ways you could do that. You could, literally just film yourself playing guitar, quickly film it, 10 seconds of your favorite lick, upload it in a file, great. You can also like, you know, download, excuse me, that was gnarly, download any of the videos from YouTube and then like put them in a file or a folder, or you could create a playlist on YouTube of your favorite licks and tricks or videos, and that way you have it all in one place, so that if you feel like you don't know what to practice, or you're like, oh, I forget what I know kind of thing, I don't know what I know, you'll have like a central location to practice everything in. And this, let me grab this laptop over here. So willy-nilly, you're saying you play licks and tricks, you play some licks, but you don't, like if you don't play them for a while, you forget them, and that's understandable. Here's the thing, you're not going to remember every lick, you're not going to remember every thing, you know, and that's okay, you know, as long as you are practicing them and you kind of understand where they come from. But like, I definitely don't remember a lot of the licks I've learned over the years, and that's okay. But if you want a central location, try those techniques I gave you. Pablo is saying, any R&B guitar players? Yes, there are definitely a lot of them. Check out Jubu Smith, Jubu, Jubu. Check out Spanky Alford. Yeah, there's those are the two I would start with. Check those guys out and have fun, because I'm excited for you if you've never heard of them. Yeah, those are some great guitar players to study. Remember, here's the biggest thing. R&B, you can get very caught up in doing stuff like, you know, like very flashy stuff. Remember to learn songs. Remember to learn like full chords and structures, rather than like very colorful, like flashy riffs, right? It's very fun, and you can learn that stuff. I'm not saying don't learn it, I'm just saying remember to learn the songs, the chords, and that kind of thing, just so that you have a greater understanding of the music in general, rather than just being like, oh, R&B, I can do like this little lick and then I don't know how to do anything else, right? So I'm trying to help you out, and here's a good one. You know, like I was just playing before, you could play a great song is Never Too Much by Luther Vandross, and so check that out. That's a great song. Check out Anniversary by Tony. That's a great guitar song. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, there's so many great R&B songs. If you can find ones that are like guitar driven rather than piano driven, you'll be able to expedite the process, because you can just learn what they're doing. So I think we got a couple more minutes here. If you are kind of lurking in the chat, or you're watching live stream, I want to can't have nice things around here. Say what's up. Say what's up in the chat. I want to hear, you know, your name, your biggest struggle, how you found Soulful Guitar Lessons, because this time is all for you. This time is all for you. You can ask me anything, and I'm an open book. Also, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We put out videos every Tuesday. Every Wednesday we go live at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. California time, so Pacific time. And also, I have a free masterclass if you are curious about like diving a little deeper, but you know, you want a little more instructions and better video angles, I have a free masterclass in the description. So check that out if you're interested. Yeah, what else? So I know we got some folks in here. I want to hear people's biggest struggle on the guitar. We're gonna be live for a couple more minutes, and then I gotta go get going about my day. Oh, well, thank you, Pablo. You know what? I'm gonna be real. Nobody's ever. I don't even know what you just did. I think you paid some money. Appreciate that. I don't. That was super nice of you. Thanks, man. Never gotten any money on the chat, so this is my first. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So yeah. What else we got going on here? We Oh, happy to help, man. I'll be here every week, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Come on back. Yeah, if you're just joining, you're just watching. We started off this live stream. I was talking about Jimi Hendrix, the biggest things I learned from him. You know, I was stressing, like, you know, he's not the most technical player. He bends and plays sometimes out of tune, and that's okay. For me, my biggest thing is just he's emotional and he connects to people, like, from heart to heart. Like, I feel him playing, and it's not often that I feel that. There's very few players that do that. That was my biggest takeaway. Okay. What's up? I don't want to mispronounce your name, so. But you're saying your biggest struggle is trying to improve. Okay, so let's figure out how to get you improving. Okay. I have many ideas for that. I want to pronounce your name right. Dionse. You can let me know if that's wrong. I don't want to butcher it. Improving is your struggle. Okay, let's figure out how to get you improving and get you on the right path. Okay, so let's say hypothetically everyone's busy, right? Let's say you got 30 minutes in a day to practice, okay? If you have more, that's great, but say you just got 30 minutes. Okay, here's what I would do. I would first stretch for 2 minutes, you know, just kind of warm up. Then I would turn on a metronome. If you don't know what a metronome is, you can literally download one on your phone for free. There's free metronomes online. And start off at like 80 beats per minute and just play scales, major scales, pentatonic scales. And the reason you're doing this is twofold. One, you're literally just trying to burn some information into your brain so that by the time you're coming to like play music, that you don't have to think so much. You're not like, oh, what key am I in, or like what scale do I use? Like that stuff's already taken care of. Also, you're going to be playing with better time. Like you're able to play in time, you know, which is a lot of musicians can't do that. So you're like, that's twofold. So if you can do that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you're set. So now you're like, you know, you're 10, 12 minutes into your 30-minute practice regimen. The next 10 minutes I would do is focus on learning some songs. So if you have like anything that you're working on as far as, you know, oh, I want to learn this riff or this song or this lick or whatever, that's what I would focus on. Okay, so you're already at like 20, 22 minutes. The rest of the time, I would have fun. Like, just there's no structure, like for the last 8 minutes, right? And that's how I would break up my practice schedule. And the reason I would end with like just having fun is because sometimes I feel like a lot of students will sit down and they feel very pressured to like improve or like, you know, and they kind of like lose the joy of just playing in general. And you want to always like keep that joy and that like freedom. And it's also just fun to kind of noodle around and see where your brain takes you. Sometimes songs will come out that you didn't know were in you, and just because you're messing around. So always leave room for creativity, because if you don't have time or leave room for creativity, it'll never show up. So that's how I would break up like a 30-minute practice regimen. Let me know if that's useful at all. We got Remarcus Jones. Can I play a 1, 2, 3, 4 progression and then open it up? Okay, so Remarcus Jones is asking about, he said a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with what he is saying, I'm going to break it down for people, and then, yes, I'll play it, and then we'll probably have to wrap up. So this will be the last question of the day. So he's saying, can I play a 1, 2, 3, 4 progression? What does that mean? Well, everything like the highest we go is like the major scale in music. So if you want to learn what a major scale is, I have videos on it, but also I'll just tell you right here. But if you're interested to dive deeper, I have like whole YouTube videos on it. Major scales are always built the same way, and they sound like this. I'm just literally just playing. They're always the same. I could be in a different key, but like the distance between each note will always be the same. Now, if I want to play a 1, 2, 3, 4, I would play this. This is my first chord, or the 1. That's my first chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my 1 chord, my 2 chord, my 3 chord, my 4 chord are always the same, no matter what. No matter what key I'm in. So if I wanted to play a 1, 2, 3, 4 progression, it sounds like this. And that's like, if I was in a different key, it would always be the same. Say I'm gonna like wipe the board clean, I'm gonna play a 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'm just gonna choose a random note. Okay, that's my 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, or 8 is the same as the 1. One, two. Right? And so on and so forth. Well, we got a lot of people here joining. Well, what's up, everybody? All right, I'm gonna go a little longer because we have some more people joining. All right. Beyonce, no problem. Try it out. Let me know. I'll be here next week. I'm here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So come back. Let me know how that practice regimen is doing for you. Remarcus, no problem. Breadcrumbs. What's up, man? I haven't seen you here in the chat, so what's your name? How long you been playing? Pablo, you're saying, what other scales would you recommend on learning for like R&B and soul, gospel, besides typical pentatonic and major scale? That's it. Those are the only 2 scales that I would recommend. Now, you're probably not squeezing every last drop out of those 2, because there's a lot of information in those 2 scales. So it's really about using what you know rather than like crowding your brain with a bunch of information. Because yeah, there's a lot of like I think the biggest thing too is like learning triads, and like rather than focusing on scales, which you gotta know your scales, learning triads. So like something like if like the chord, if like this is the chord progression, so I'm like playing a 1, 3 dominant, 6 major to 2 to 5. So yeah, I could play my what I could do is I could play guitar, like I could just play the G flat chords, you know, I could just play, right? But if I want to really highlight all the different changes, it's really important for me to know what chords are happening. And the best way to know what chords are happening is learning a lot of triads. So I could play a solo, like, you know, right? Like learning all my triads, like say my G major triad, G flat major triad, learning all the way up there, right? And then same, like if my next chord is like a B flat, well, I should learn all that stuff, right? You want to learn all those triads up and down the neck, and that'll really get you a long way. I actually just came out with a YouTube video on this exact thing, and I have all the tabs for you. So if you're interested, go check that out. But again, I don't want to make you have to click out of this video just for that. I want to give you all the information you need. That's what I would do. I would work on triads rather than Pablo. I would work on triads rather than not rather than, but in addition to those pentatonic and major scales. Man, I gotta move some of this. I gotta reorganize my room, guys. Pablo, no problem, man. Happy to help. Breadcrumbs. Okay, you said you've been following me since the start of February. So thank you. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining the community. This community is all about, we're trying to get better at guitar, really like focusing on intermediate guitar players. Yeah, you can be beginner and advanced, but taking a lot of intermediate players and really beefing them up, making them studio grade, tour ready, like professional musician grade. So that's really what we're all about here. So if you stick with me, you keep coming back, that's what we're gonna get you there, no matter your skill level. So that's what we're here for. And yeah, I'm based in Los Angeles. I've played with a lot of pop, R&B, hip hop players. It's what I do for a living, and so played guitar for 20 years, taught hundreds of students, and played with some of the world's greatest artists and musicians. So I am here to try to have people get better at the instrument, because it's the best instrument, right? It's way better than trumpet and piano. That's those instruments. You know what I'm saying? So no, but so if you're a guitar player, you're looking to improve, play with more soul, with more heart. There's a lot of people out there that are burning, that can do all this crazy shred stuff, but doesn't connect, it doesn't hit, and that's what we're here to do. We're trying to figure out, and I'm going to show you the exact blueprint for playing with heart, with feeling, so that you can connect with people rather than just shred and do stuff that really has no emotional meaning. So yeah. All right, we have a good, a healthy live stream right now, and I really appreciate. We have a lot of new people here, so if you're new, thank you so much for being a part of this community. feel free to subscribe, because I am here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, California time. I also put out new videos every Tuesday as well. And yeah, it's been a really, really fun thing to see this channel grow. And Wednesdays are really always structured the same. I do a topic for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we open it up to a Q&A. So, the more you engage with the chat and the more you just tell me about yourself and where you're from, some of your struggles and all that stuff, yeah, like the more I can make videos and help tailor content and answer your questions that'll literally be just personal for you. If you got a question, I had somebody ask me about like guitar playing, as far as like loop making and beats, and I just made a video on that. That'll be coming out sometime in the future. So like, the more questions you give me, the more you're like, I'm struggling with this, how do I do that? I'm gonna be making videos and answering your questions like in long form. So super fun stuff. So yeah, all right, I'm gonna get going here. We've been on here for about an hour, so thank you everyone for joining me. My name is Alec. Yeah, we had a lot of great new people in the chat, as well as some old folks, returning people. So thanks for being a part of the community. I will see you guys here next Wednesday, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Pacific time, like California time. Yeah, thank you, and I will see you guys soon. Take care, stay safe.